Now it started. Now we're
Oh,
live.
look at that. Oh, that's right. You never did do another intro, did you?
Not yet. No, I've been too lazy to do a new intro.
Oh, whatever.
My mind hasn't been on the new intro as much as my mind's been on the Beast of Bray Road stuff.
Yeah, I know. I
I'm
know.
thinking about how to get that done. We're running out of time slowly.
I, I don't know what to tell you on that.
You're lazy. Just tell me
How am
that.
I
I'm not.
lazy
I keep saying we
when
got
I'm
to
the
write a
one
script. We
when
get
I'm the
over
one
there.
that's working
I
my
get
ass
over
off?
there. We're supposed to write a script, and we end up fucking off.
It's not my fault. That is not me doing that.
Mm. Oh no, just check out how my new window got put in, and let's look at this, And
Whatever.
yeah,
I don't know about you some days.
and now we got to replace your camera.
And so Amber, can you tell that we've been friends for a long time?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nope. I would have guessed maybe a year or so.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Amber.
Well, my
What
name
got
is
you started? What got you started in the paranormal? The interest and all that stuff.
the interest in all that. So that all starts back on December 27th, 1982. Um, I was born and raised in a old farmhouse outside of Berlin that my family to this day still owns. The house is over 200 years old, and
Wow.
when I was 7 years old, I had my first paranormal experience, and it happened to be my great grandfather who passed away, and he smoked cherry pipe. And I got up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I hit the kitchen that was right outside the bathroom, and I froze in my tracks, and I smelled the cherry pipe, and I saw him and could hear him.
Cool.
Scared the crap out of me. I
How old were
spent
you?
what's that?
How old were you then?
7.
Really? Yeah,
7.
that scared the shit out of me too. If I was 7.
And I did not understand it. I didn't know what was going on at that time. I only knew that my great grandfather had passed away, when I was 2. So, and for years I spent with the nightlight on, and I was a kid going to school going, guess what happened in our house last night? And everybody's like, yeah, you're pretty crazy. So I have had a lot of paranormal experiences in my life, and I do consider myself to be quite sensitive to it. I do pick up on a lot, but how I got involved with the Berlin Tannery was a little over a year ago. Myself and my husband had contacted the owner of the tannery for a storage unit. And that led into, oh, there's a haunted house there. And well, we're haunted house Halloween fanatics. And he had mentioned to us that there was nobody to take over that side for the year. So we stepped up and started doing the haunted house. And it kind of all spiraled from there. There was so many paranormal experiences while doing the haunted house, building it. And then the owner, Dan Hoppe, said, listen, guys, I'm done with doing the investigations. I can't handle it anymore. Would you be interested in taking over? And we said, absolutely. So we took that over end of last year, beginning of this year, where we're running the investigations. And it's been fun and interesting and scary all at the same
Cool.
time. So
That would be cool. You know, that I was just thinking, if you, I didn't know that part about the haunted house. Is that actually at the Berlin Tannery?
yes. So
Now,
right
see, that
now,
would be cool.
yep, right now we operate 3 separate haunted houses out of the Berlin Tannery, our side being the purgatory side. So come October, it's filled with not only real ghosts, but fake ghosts. And you never know if you're going to be scared by the real thing or one of the actors. So, which makes it extremely interesting.
Yeah, those are fun. See,
They are.
Halloween, me, Halloween was fun as a kid, but as I got older, it got more fun. It got more fun. You're a teenager, you're scaring the shit out of kids just to steal their candy, when you're in high school and stuff, and they're saying you're too old to trick or treat. But then when you get to the adult and you have the kids, you're making the haunted houses.
Yes.
Scaring
Yes.
them,
So once we did the haunted house for the first time last year, I was completely hooked. There was my goal when people came into my room was to try and almost make them cry. And there was nothing more exciting to me than listening to all the screams. It was like, yes, scream louder, because if you scream, we're not going to come save you. That's what we told all the guests. If you scream, we're not going to come find you.
I think one year we had Mama piss her pants.
Yeah, we didn't put one on as big as the one you're doing, but
No, we used my brother's house or his house.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the garage, and
his brother had a car and a half garage. It was pretty good size. So
plus the screened-in front porch that led up to the front door that they had to walk into before knocking on the front door for their candy.
well, that was early on.
Yeah.
But when we did the haunted house in the garage, we just basically took some black tarp and hung it from the rafters, made a maze in there, and I made sure there was an area big enough for two people to stand in, right in the center of it all. Covered with the
Put it up for one night. Halloween.
We had put it up in the daytime for the Halloween night, or for the celebration.
Halloween.
And then when we were done, we tore it all down.
Yeah, we'd stay up.
We never left anything up.
Nice.
So
and we added to it every year so that nobody knew our secrets. And every year, no matter what time of year it was, somebody'd see us walking around from the neighborhood at Woodman's or Easttown Mall or something like that in Madison. Are you guys doing the haunted house this year? Are you guys doing the haunted house this year?
Well, fun fact, the Berlin Tannery is about 75,000 square feet.
Oh, crap.
Yes. We have a lot of space to work with, which can make for one hell of a haunted house. And like I said, we took over our side last year, and we revamp. We're doing different rooms and stuff like that, but it can be pretty intense. And not only the fun haunted house part of it, but the real haunted house part of it. Last year, we had 5 of our actors at one time, all in separate areas, break down and start crying. And we actually had to shut down for 15, 20 minutes and not let anybody in, because that's how intense the activity was on our side of the haunted house. So
what's the history of this Berlin Tannery?
Sure. And that's a great question. So the original tannery was built in 1863. And at that time, it operated as a cranberry storage facility, and that was owned by the Stanley family. And fun fact that in the 1863 up until the late 1890s, Berlin was actually the highest producing of cranberries in the state of Wisconsin. So Berlin was producing about 8,000 barrels, 100-quart barrels of cranberries. And only second to that was Elm Lake, Wisconsin. And they were doing about 2,700 barrels. So, and they operated like that up until a lot of flooding and intense heat killed out all the plants. So coming to the tannery part, the tannery business has been in Berlin since about the same time, the 1860s, and they started out with different locations, but unfortunately 3 separate fires destroyed their buildings. And then in 1923 is when the Berlin Tannery moved into its current location on Washington Street. And it operated as a full tannery up until they closed the doors in 1999. And in the fall time, they were doing roughly about 400,000 hides just in fall. So, and that was a full production from start to finish with the tannery process. I mean, they took it from, the hides, and they deflushed the hides and went through all these different processes with sulfuric acid and other stuff like that, just to get the hides. And then they also had huge sewing rooms where they made various things. They were a big partnership with Red Wing Shoes. So that's kind of the history of the tannery. It operated as the tannery for several years. It was bought and sold by a couple different companies. And once they sold to the last company out in New York is kind of when they said, oh, nope, we're closing you down. And which is very unfortunate because there's not many full tanneries left in the United States. There's not much production, and it's a huge production. That's why the tannery is 75,000 square feet, is because you need so much room to go through that process of tanning the hides. And along with that, obviously, was a lot of injuries.
I was going to mention, you know, with the sewing machines and working with that acid and all of that, that would explain, you know, a lot of paranormal activity, especially if it started way back when, you know, when your equipment was a lot less safety.
Now you were saying that it moved from its original place?
Yes. So back in the early 1860s is when the tannery business came to Berlin. And they were at a different location in Berlin. Well, they had fires in, let me see here. They had a fire in 1868, and they rebuilt after that on the same location. And then they had another fire in 1875. And after that, they rebuilt at another location. And then on February 5th, 1923, they had a massive fire that took that other location. And that's when they moved to purchase their current location on Wisconsin Street in Berlin, the cranberry storage facility. And it only started out as a 2-story building. And they have, over the years, added on its 4 levels, including the basement. And it's 75,000 square feet. So since purchasing in 1923, they have expanded that place immensely.
Okay. Another question is, do you know that if they moved any of the equipment when they actually moved the location?
And that's a great question. No, they did not. They had to purchase all new equipment because that was all lost in that fire in 1923. Okay.
So was there anything attached to the old buildings that they may have moved with it over to the new location?
Yeah, and that's a great question. As far as my knowledge and my research goes, I have not found any of that. The only thing that I have found is old news articles stating that everything was a total loss.
Okay. Well, the only reason I ask is because, you know, with the older locations and the things that happen there, if there's any of the items that were actually able to be moved with, you know, over to the newest location, that can bring energies with. But the energies that you're probably experiencing there now have accumulated over the years at that location.
Absolutely. And the original building itself, that was the cranberry storage, is built, it's got a limestone foundation.
Oh, limestone's great for pulling energy in.
And we are right on the Fox River here. It's right on the Fox River here in Berlin. So that's another thing, too, that adds to all of the paranormal activity in the hot spots. But we have had several psychic mediums come into the tannery, and they have identified there are 4 active portals in the tannery. And when we do our investigations and we are going to the locations in the building, it is quite active around these portals. And it was also said by some psychic mediums, there's upwards of 70 spirits, entities in the tannery at any given time, which if you come and do an investigation, you will clearly see that there's quite a number of spirits and entities that are regulars in the building.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, also with it being on the Fox River like that, you have the flow of the river also draws in energy as well.
Yep.
I know that. And even if the river wasn't flowing, even if it was a dry riverbed, you still have energy flowing through that riverbed. And I know this for a fact because I actually channeled some when I was younger, when I first started practicing Wicca. I actually channeled some energy out of a dry riverbed through me into a crystal orb and out. And my friends couldn't believe what they seen. And I drew a pentagram in the sand. I used sea salt to line it with, put candles up, and channeling the energy, I actually made the temperature inside the pentagram drop about 20 degrees.
Wow. Very, very interesting.
Yep.
Yes, it's anything related to water, stuff like that definitely is a hot spot. And, with my few years of experience with the paranormal, I've seen that too.
I am so jaded with this that it's I can't even I don't even get spooked.
I wish I could say the same thing because no, I'm if you watch some of that footage we have caught, I have one where we have an SLS camera that we use, and on the SLS camera there's a figure standing there, and I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna walk up by him. As soon as I got over by him, it grabbed my shoulder, and it felt like somebody was right in my ear whispering, and I just freaked out and I screamed, and back I went. And I'm not shy about that. It still startles me. I mean, will I be alone in the Berlin Tannery? You couldn't pay me enough money. The
I'll
spirits
go in
there,
there by myself.
the spirits there are very, very active, and some of them can be very playful. And we actually do have a very demonic entity that hangs out in a certain part of the tannery too, where we don't mess with him at all. He likes to mess with us sometimes, but we really kind of leave him alone because he has done some pretty not nice stuff to some of us. So
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Farrer School
no.
over in Iowa? It's a school. It's an elementary school. It's well over 100 years old.
Hold on. I'll be right back. Puppy needs
Somebody
help.
needs to go out.
Yep, outside.
But Joe knows all this because him and I went with a guy down in out of Illinois and went over to the crash site for Buddy Holly, Big Bopper,
Mm-hmm.
And I had at the crash site, I had one of my voice recorders failed to record, but on the other one, as we're recording, I could hear when I played it back. I heard a single prop airplane in the distance flying.
Wow.
And then when we got to the school, and this is why I mentioned the school, because you're talking about the demonic entity. When we got to the school, I heard all these different stories about the school and how a lot of activity was there. And it's a very interesting school because when you go in, you've got when you go in the main door, you've got these steps that go up, and then they go up to the top landing, and then you got the steps that go down that come out under that top landing to the gymnasium. So you got the gymnasium floor there. So, and then the top landing is an open window type thing to where you can actually view down onto that gymnasium floor. Now, when you're at the end of the stairs and you're facing the back wall, to your left, there's a room a doorway that leads into this room that if you go into it and make another right or make a right, that'll take you back into the boiler room area. Supposedly a lot of activity back there.
For our school?
So, yep, for our school. So I had brought all my stuff down to the basement, was set up on a table, and I started I grabbed my camera, my handheld video camera. I had my cap on. I always wear a cap when I investigate because I got a body camera that I put on it. I clip it on. And then I had my voice recorder in my hand, my other one that actually worked. And as I'm getting everything ready, I'm trying to, everything, it just, there was this energy that I felt, and it was pulling my attention to that back room. So me and my bright ideedness grabbed everything and I walked back there. And when I got into that back room, I also had a flashlight with me. So I had my voice recorder, and a flashlight in my hand. So, and my camera and my other camera. And so I get back there in that back room. And for some reason, the very first thing I did is I started provoking. And I called it out. I said, whatever the hell you are, I want to talk to you. Come out, talk to me. I got a voice recorder here. I got this camera. Let's go. And I started provoking heavy. And I was back there probably about 10 minutes or so. And then I just was like, okay, you don't want to come touch me. You don't want to come do anything. So I turned around and went out. Walked around the top part of the area was the 3 stories, came back down and set my camera up in that room facing into the boiler room. So I had it on the tripod. The battery finally went dead in it. So I replaced the battery. So when I tried listening to anything on the recorder, nothing. It was dead air. My body camera didn't record video. It only recorded audio. My regular camera, when I traded out the battery, it showed that it was recording. It showed on the screen it was recording. Every one of the files were corrupt after I changed that battery.
We've had similar issues.
Here's the best part, though. I had my laptop with me too.
This is my favorite part.
And I had my laptop. I set my laptop up so I could, I wanted to immediately download any information that I could get into my laptop at this point. I flip open my laptop. I had it plugged in. I hit the power button. It powers on, goes to the login screen, and I type in my password. I hit enter. Nope. Password's wrong. What do you mean password's wrong? So I type it in again. Hit enter. Password's wrong. I'm like, you got to be flipping kidding me. So I type it in a third time, and I make sure I do it different to make sure if like I had a capital or something like that. Still wouldn't let me in. 4 times wouldn't let me in. I just got so irritated. It's like, I know this password. I put this password in it specifically because of me, so, who I am, and I'm very particular about things.
Very anal about things.
So I could not get into my laptop, so I put that away. So in the whole mess of everything, I had like 5 pieces of equipment subsequently fail on me. Everybody else did fine.
Karma's a bitch.
It's because I provoked whatever that was.
Because the minute he got home, no,
it wasn't the minute I got home. Because when I got home, I put everything away, and I went and I passed out. Because I'd been up over 24 hours.
So this particular demonic entity, actually, one of the stories we have is another paranormal group that came in to investigate, and he was doing a documentary called Skinned, and it was all about the Berlin Tannery. Well, he decided that he needed to provoke this particular entity, and he, in the documentary he has released called Skinned, his name is Kyle Kubitz. The end of the documentary shows where he's provoking it, and he gets touched and affected by it. Now, this particular night after this happened, Kyle went home. He was 28 years old at the time and ended up having a massive stroke.
Holy.
And it should have killed him. It should have killed him. And the doctors have no explanation why this happened at such a young age. But to this day, he's still not normal. He's got a lot of paralysis still. He's able to walk and everything. But he never had any health problems, health issues, stuff like that. And they had caught EVPs and stuff coming through on Spirit Box that was identifying that this entity did not like him, and had stuff coming across on the voice box saying they were going to kill him, that he was going to die, and it's very scary. So when we do our investigations, we specifically ask our groups coming in, please do not provoke. This is why. I mean, this. There is no explanation for what happened to Kyle, and it's very tragic. But this particular demonic entity is not a nice person. He has identified himself by name, and he calls himself Mattathias. And if you research the name Mattathias, it does come back as being a demon. So he has identified himself by name.
I get that, but he won't. I guarantee you, if it is a demon, it will not give you its true name.
No,
because once you know a demon's true name, you can control that demon.
Interesting.
Yep, it will not tell you its true name. But if you can provoke it out of it, or you can get it out of it, the true name. You can, using witchcraft, you can control that demon.
Wow, you learn something new every day. Particular for me, I won't do that. I'm not brave enough. I feel when he's around, I know when he speaks to us, but I'm just nothing but respectful. And so no, you won't catch me doing any of that kind of stuff because I don't want to play. I don't want to play. So, but that's the first time I have ever experienced anything demonic like that, and it is very scary.
It wouldn't be the first for me.
Yeah, I watched my husband when we were investigating. Said I feel like I got scratched on the cheek, and we have video of 3 scratch marks forming in front of us on our cheek and on his cheek. 2 minutes later, he said, it's on my other cheek. On camera, 3 more scratches form on his other cheek. And the other gentleman we were with, Peter, we were all wearing blessed crosses. And Peter's was metal chain. And Peter went, something's burning me. Picked up his chain, and it was a perfect chain mark around his neck where he got burned from that chain. Needless to say, after that, we got the hell out of there. So I don't like to play games with that guy. He's more powerful than me, and I'm just gonna stay away from his little area. So,
wow, interesting. So is he confined to a certain area there?
There is an area in the tannery, which we call the ramp, that connects the 2nd level and 3rd level that he pretty much frequents all the time, though we have caught and heard him in other areas of the building. That ramp area is pretty much his domain. That's where he likes to hang out, but once in a while we will catch him in other areas of the building. So
makes me wonder, have you found through your time going into the building, I know you probably went in during the day too, right?
Correct.
So during all your time going in and everything, have you ever came across any kind of witch symbols or any kind of like runic type symbols or pentagrams or anything of that nature?
not that we have seen. I know that people, ever since they have started the paranormal investigations, I mean, we've found some crystals and stuff like that, but nothing painted anywhere, nothing to that sort. But that's not to say that there isn't something, because again, it's a 75,000 square foot building.
Yeah.
It could have been painted over.
Well, that's why I was kind of wondering. I mean,
Mhm.
you don't have to have it even painted. You can have it scratched in or something of like that too.
Mhm.
So, and because some people, they know how to, some, let me phrase this correctly. Some practicing Wiccans and witches do know what they're doing, but others think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I
And
believe
the
that.
ones that think they know what they're doing are the ones that do the stupid stuff.
I don't doubt that. I believe that 100%.
So, at any particular time, someone may have came in there over the years and performed some sort of weird ritual in there, thinking that they were doing it correct, and may have opened a portal
Mhm.
that this demonic entity came through.
Yep. And that's one thing, that I am in the middle of right now, since we've taken over the investigations, is trying to find out more history on the tannery. It did close in 1999, and there are a few people still left in the area that used to work there. I have interviewed a couple, but I want to know more. I want to know if there's any kind of weird stuff that they can talk to me about. I know the ones I have talked to have openly said that weird stuff happened there the entire time that I worked there. It made me uncomfortable coming into work. We had stuff going missing all the time. We heard people talking. Lights would go on and off. Doors would open and close. But that would be something that I would like to find out, if there's any history of that. Maybe somebody back in the day thought they knew what they were doing and performed something and just opened up a whole can of worms that they really didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
That's true too.
Yes.
And the whole thing is too, what kind of land was it that they actually built the building on?
So obviously Berlin was Indian. The Mascoutin tribe was here, and there was another tribe here. So, in the research I've done thus far, when they did discover this land for the cranberries, there were still tribes, around where they flooded the bogs to make the cranberries. So Berlin is very, very notorious for having, the big one was the Mascoutin tribe here, and there were a couple other ones. So it does have a history of having the Indian tribes here.
Right. Pretty much all of the Indian tribes throughout the United States that are indigenous to the United States, they have similar folklore. And one of the ones of the folklore that is very similar throughout most of the tribes is the skinwalker.
Yes. Yep. I'm very familiar with the skinwalker. So
yeah, that kind of goes into what Joe and I have been doing and trying to get our footage done up. Is
I'm not saying a word.
well, the Beast of Bray Road. Have you ever heard of that, Amber?
Yes, I have. Yep.
We've been out there twice and did some filming, and the second time was pretty fun, pretty interesting. We got some.
Yeah, we only have the only footage we have out there right now on our YouTube channel is the first time we went out that way, and that's just a drive. That was just a drive night down Bray Road itself.
Yep.
That was it.
Wow.
Since then, we've accumulated a lot.
We've got probably what, Joe? Probably about close to 20 hours of footage
at the minimum.
Wow. That's
at the minimum
insane.
to go through, and to get it down to about an hour or less by October. And we're sitting on this. We've been sitting on this stuff for 2 years. It's never been released. Not even the pictures we have. Nothing. Nothing's been released yet.
Yeah,
We just talked about it.
If you gentlemen could give me 1 second, I'm going to step away for just 1 minute.
Oh,
I
yeah.
will be right back. Somebody has to go outside.
Oh, kind of like this one here.
Exactly.
Yeah, she picks you. Yeah, Joy picks it. She played me on that one though.
I figured she did.
There was another dog that she actually gets along with that was walking by. So she had to go outside to say hi.
Yep.
Yeah,
I figured she played you.
she did.
She was being a little
Played
too,
me
but
for a sucker.
she was being a little too sweet sitting there with you.
Oh, well, what can I say? She's a spoiled puppy, and it's my fault. I'll take
Yeah, it
you know,
is.
I take full blame for that one. But that's part of having a husky. You get a husky, you got to spoil those huskies. They're just too cute and too fun and too lovable and too friendly. Not to spoil them.
Well, you're the husky guy. I'm a pity. I like my pity.
And I have dachshunds.
She's got the wieners without the bun.
I love my wieners.
Taken the wrong way.
No, dachshunds are fun.
No,
They
I
are
like
the
that.
best.
They're
I
fun
like
dog.
the husky because they're the closest thing to a wolf without having a wolf.
Whatever.
And they've got the perfect temperament when you've got grandkids. They're
Nice.
they're the worst guard dog in the world, but perfect babysitter at the same time. You know,
Yeah, it's
somebody
it's well
comes in to
known
burglare
that
you, somebody comes in to rob you, they'll lay down on their back and they're like, "Give me a belly rub and I'll show you where all the valuables are." Kids
So
come
when
over
that's
and
pretty
they'll
much a
play with
husky.
them be real gentle and playing tug of war, and then when they leave and they want to play tug of war with you, all bets are off, and you're up against that old dog.
Yep.
They can change their temperament real quick depending on the situation.
All right. Now where were we?
I don't know.
you were telling me about your Brave Road and all the
Oh yeah.
so
there
and
it's
See, we're supposed to be in Milwaukee for the paranormal conference in October. The 15th of October. D. Krulos hasn't told me a time yet, unfortunately. So, but as soon as I know
We're
the
gonna be on
time,
stage.
it'll be listed for everybody to know. We're going to be going on stage.
wow.
Mark might have to do it by himself, though. I'll sit in the audience
Nope,
and just
because
watch.
I'm
him.
gonna drag him up. I'm gonna duct tape him to the chair, and I'm gonna put the headphones on him.
I got stage fright pretty bad.
He gets I kind of broke him of some of it by getting him on here.
So we've got to get the footage done early enough to take it back to Elkhorn. And while we're there, we're going to do another investigation. And we're also going to use something that that we didn't use last time and didn't think of using last time. And we're going to show the footage to Mr. Lee Hampel, and he's going to review it. And then on October 15th, he's also going to be our guest on stage with us.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, if you guys are ever interested, definitely sending you guys an invitation to come on up to Berlin and experience the tannery. It's it never disappoints, that's for sure.
Sounds like it'd be fun. I'd love to come up there.
Yes, it's definitely active. The past few months has really the amount of activity has increased dramatically. We just did an investigation on Wednesday night, and we had some things thrown at us, and we did another investigation the previous Friday. We had things thrown at us again from the same spot, and it's just I did about an hour and a half of voice recorders, and I have right now probably about 60 EVPs from just that one session.
Wow.
Cool.
So it definitely does not disappoint. So if you guys are looking for a good time, we are more than willing to welcome you up to the Berlin Tannery.
We haven't really been out at all this year yet.
We haven't had a chance to. I
Yeah,
got
this is the
promoted
first
to
year since
management
all
at
that
work.
COVID bullshit that we've been able to go, but then he goes and buys a house and has to move. Then he gets promoted during that time. He gets promoted at work, so now he's got
Yeah.
a new schedule to adjust to.
Right after I bought the house, I got promoted to management.
I mean,
Well, congratulations.
God must have loved him at that day. They really did.
We'll
don't know.
share some of that. Look, would you, Mark? That would be
He's
Oh,
that
got
would
a
be pretty swell.
We've got a nice big garage in a
I'd lo-
small
I'd-
town that we could do a nice haunted house in. Right in that big ass garage of his.
I actually got a double deep car and a half garage.
Hmm.
It's it's a car and a half wide, but it's twice as
And
long as a
it's
normal
quite
garage.
empty, so it'd be easy to turn into a haunted house with just a little bit of imagination.
It is still empty. I haven't put anything in it really.
Well, if you guys do end up doing that, let me know. I'd love to take a peek to see what your imaginations are compared to what our imaginations
you would
are.
wanna
Well, you've got a lot of room. You've got
Yes.
a lot of room to play with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to
when
step
we were
inside
doing
our imaginations.
No, you'd get
They
lost
get
in
quite
it.
demented.
You probably, if you ever seen the inside of my mind, I think you'd probably get lost.
Yeah, same here. And my husband is right up there with me. So some of the things we come up with is quite we always say people heard us talk back and forth. I'm not sure if they'd throw us in jail or if they'd throw us into a padded room. So
About as bad as him and I.
Well, we're called insane asylum for a reason, I go around telling people I hear voices, it's not a quiet place being in my head. Those voices tend to argue quite often with each other.
Man.
I would just find as many people as I could to swap meds with and be like, here, let's swap and see what happens.
I've done that once. Not a pretty
Yeah, we
sight.
could do one of those. We could do one of those parties where we show up with the bottle of meds and dump them in the bowl.
I don't think so. Just thinking with my, I'll take, let me put it this way. I'll take God's green nature. I'll take God's green flower, and I'll keep using it.
Whatever works.
The natural stuff.
The natural.
Herb. It's a natural herb, man.
Maybe that's why the inside of your head's so messed up.
Never know.
No, it's messed up from all the chemo and radiation.
Ugh.
I had what's called total body eradication. Okay, they put you in a room in your underwear and they flood it with radiation until you burn.
Yeah,
No, they basically
he's a
kill you.
leukemia survivor.
They basically kill every blood cell in your body to do what they had to do.
Wow.
I went through a bone marrow transplant. Otherwise, died 5 times. Was told December 4th, 1995. They said I wasn't going to live to see Christmas that year.
And here you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a survivor.
Well, just so you know,
most people could imagine.
Yeah, just so you know, Joe, so by day I am a hospice care consultant. So if you ever need help, don't forget me. I can help you along that journey.
I'm not going to die. See, I'm a vampire. I'm going to live forever.
Yeah. Okay.
I am. Think about it. It goes back. I wasn't the one that started calling me a vampire. That was my brother. Before I got the leukemia. This is my lifestyle. I worked third shift, so I'd go to bed as the sun was coming up in the morning, and I'd wake up about the time it was going down. Because I didn't have to be to work till 10 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
So, it was a rough lifestyle working that third shift for as
It
many years
is.
as I did. And, well, I took after my father on a few things, like I'd eat raw hamburger right out of the package. Got to have the steak. Used to have the steaks bloody rare. The blood had to be just oozing out of it still. Just, put it on the grill, brown it a little, flip it, brown it again, and then get it to me. So my brother used to call me a vampire.
I can do the pink, and that's it. Little pink.
I'm the same
Fine.
way. Just little pink.
But I liked it more when people was making fun after what my mom said and said that I looked like Charles Manson. I liked that one even better because I was more fun with that one.
Oh man, I don't know.
But, we get into those horror movies. I got into the horror movies. He got into the horror movies when he was growing up. So, with a couple of people that are that demented watching all those classic horror movies, from the 70s, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Oh.
the original Friday the 13th, and Halloween and all of that. We come up with some pretty good ideas for a Halloween haunted house.
Most of our stuff was jump scares, though.
Yeah, but it was all, and everything we had was pretty much handmade.
Yep.
And we'd buy some of the stuff like the fog machines and stuff like that. We got those after Halloween was over with from the Halloween stores because it was like 75% off.
Yes, which is the best time to get that stuff.
Right.
Of course,
right.
Yes.
You also go to those stores to get the ideas because you see those styrofoam tombstones. Oh, well, make those with we can make a dozen of those for what one of them would cost us in the store.
Exactly. And we do a lot of the same thing, a lot of handmade stuff because it does get expensive. Now, our side, Purgatory, we have more skits. And that has always been important to my husband and I because we've been to the haunted houses where they rush you through, or you've got somebody in front of you, you're running into that group, and then people are running into you from behind, or you get stuck with annoying teenagers that you just want to make a permanent prop in the haunted house because they won't shut up. Like, oh yeah, no, don't mind them.
I got an idea for you.
Yeah.
No, finish your thought.
Okay. So we do little skits in some of our rooms because you're actually interacting with the guests. You're actually making an effort to try and scare them.
Yeah.
And we don't push people through. Sometimes our wait time could be upwards of 2 hours plus because we refuse to let people in like cattle, one right after another. So we do a lot of the same thing, handmade stuff, painting stuff, whatever we can design. So now I want to hear your idea.
Well, you know how all the millennials are into the escape rooms?
Yes.
Incorporate that in with one of your skit rooms.
Oh, geez. I just got all kinds of ideas on that now.
where you have several, like 2 or 3 different ways of allegedly escaping.
Yes. And that has crossed our mind.
When you get the one open, you get a jump scare. And then also you can have it to where you have one of the actors in the room when they show up, and they can be like, I got stuck in here, I couldn't get out. Now you guys are stuck in here with me. Let's get out together, and then have them like kind of go mental on them as it's going along.
Well, Mark, we're always looking for volunteers to come help us design and build, and volunteer to act. So come on up to Berlin.
Well, he don't have to act being mental. We're still waiting for the stray jacket coming in the mail. His ass yet.
But no,
Oh.
seriously, something like that I think would actually go over really good.
I agree 100%.
Well, that's like
And my daughter's just as twisted as me. She'd probably be able to come up with
you know,
ideas too.
my daughter Ashley was pretty twisted too at one time. I think she got a little bit more twisted than I did. She got it from me. She claimed.
Yeah.
So did Deborah, my oldest. Yeah, I think I think they're even incorporating skulls into their wedding.
Wow.
Oh Lord. Yeah, his daughter Deborah, his oldest, she's
Getting
getting
married right
in
around
October.
Halloween this year.
Wow. That should be a lot of fun.
Well,
Yeah,
there
I've
you
been
go.
looking forward
With
to
as
watching
big of
my daughter down
an
the aisle.
area, with as big of an area you got up there, you can set up a venue to where you can do weddings too.
That's not a bad idea. I
Haunted
like
wedding.
the way you think.
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure my daughter's not the only one that would like a Halloween themed wedding. You know.
No,
Or
no.
just a haunted wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that too.
You can have guests come dressed as zombies.
Yeah.
Or the Beetlejuice couple.
See what happens whenever when you put the nest. You wake the crazy.
They'll wake up the crazy. Well, now I can definitely see why his name is Insane Joe and why this is the insane asylum. So,
You know, it took us a while to get to that point. Our show really transformed over the since 2017 when we first started.
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
No, we were doing the wrong way of it. We were
Pissing
talking
people off.
Yeah, we were talking religion and
Politics.
and politics, and we were really pissing people off at that point.
I bet.
So
That's
so
all right.
we revamped and went this way with it.
March 2019, we revamped to the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then, it has been
A blast.
quite a ride.
I bet. I love the paranormal. I love talking about it. I love experiencing it. And it's, there's a lot of people out there that have had paranormal experiences.
Well,
And over the years, it's become more acceptable. But then
Yep.
you have a lot of your ones that still don't believe. And,
Yeah.
to those types of people, I say at any point in time, you can come on up to the Berlin Tannery and come do an investigation with me, and I'll make a believer out of you. So,
I get quite surprised sometimes, people find out that, I do this paranormal talk show and we go out and investigate and they're like, really? Oh, I was at this place once and this happened to me and my friend while they were there. And it's like, wow, but before some people back in the day, some people probably look at you like you're fucking nuts.
that's why when I started out saying I was the girl going to school saying, guess what happened in our house last night? And I really think that not sure what the teachers and students thought about me, because we did have paranormal experiences in our home so often that to me it was normal.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that other kids didn't have the same thing going on in their homes. So yeah, it was
Or if they said, oh, I think I saw Bigfoot. Oh, you've been watching too much TV, kid.
Yeah. I was told I had an overactive imagination.
Overactive imagination, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which kids don't know what that is nowadays. You might have to explain what an imagination is.
Mm-hmm.
Now with computers and cell phones and all this other crap, they don't know what it's like to be kicked outside and you're not to come in until that light, see the light and the sun goes down, that light comes on, that street light comes on, that's when your ass better be inside or out.
Yep.
But I don't want to see your face until then. So you got to go outside and use your imagination.
Mm-hmm. That's where you go around and pick up sticks that look like guns and
they get grounded to their room, play their video games, sit on their phones, whatever. They don't care.
Mm-mm.
Cable TV in every room. Shit. We had 3 channels growing up. 4 if you included PBS, you know.
Hmm.
Kids nowadays don't know what an imagination is.
No, they don't. They do not.
But you gotta have an imagination. But it
Yes,
wasn't
you
that,
do.
you know. I believe in a lot of these cryptids are possible. You know, some of the sightings, yes, are definitely misidentifications. There's no
Yes.
doubt. I mean, especially in a place like Wisconsin, you know, going back to the Beast of Bray Road, you know, that road is a very long, about 2-mile road, 2.5
And
mile
dark.
road, and it's very dark. The farmhouses that are along that road are far apart and far from the road, so the lights on any of those don't even help light up any part of the road at all. If you get a full moon and a clear sky, you got a little help for your headlights. That's about it. It's very dark. So if you're out there alone, quiet night, late at night, you see a wolf or a coyote eating roadkill and it looks up at you, you know, mind could play tricks with you a little bit at that time of
Absolutely.
night, you know. So definite possibilities. But with that many people, there's something more to it. And, you know, from our point of view, that place is that area is a lot more than just the Beast of Bray Road.
Hmm.
Okay.
Well,
That's all I'm gonna say about that right now while we're live.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm very interested to follow that story that you guys are talking about and what you come out with because
Well, stick around after we go off the air and we'll tell you some more.
sounds good.
So,
Well,
Sounds
you
good.
can tell her more, but I need to use the bathroom.
well, you can use the bathroom and come back. I'll go off. I mean, you know, we've hit about that hour mark if you need to go.
Yeah.
I'll just call it
And
from here.
by the way,
You have
Amber,
anything else to promote?
since you guys are doing the haunted house in there now and everything, I want to have you come back in October so we can help you promote it.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. All right, so I'm going to let you two talk real quick. I'm going to go use the bathroom.
All right.
All right.
So, anything else you got coming up soon that you want to tell everybody about?
Well, nothing. I mean, we have our haunted house in October, but we do offer our paranormal investigations year round. They just have to get a hold of us either on our Facebook page, the Berlin Tannery, or the website, theberlintannery.com. And
Yeah, it's going across the bottom there.
we do have a slew of our own paranormal devices that we use. We have the SLS cameras, the REM pods. We have a new, brand new updated spirit box. We have the cat balls. So anybody interested, come on up to the Berlin Tannery, get a hold of us, and we would get something scheduled. We do 1 hour investigations, 3 hour investigations, 6 hours, or 12 hours, and that would be considered an overnight investigation. So there are options.
Oh, sounds like there's plenty of options.
Absolutely.
Quite a few to choose from. All
Mhm.
right. Be sure to tune in to us next Friday. We'll be back, hopefully, with another guest. If not, well, then you have to listen to Mark and I's bullshit. So everybody keep an open mind, stay safe, and definitely stay cool out there and stay hydrated.